guys, welcome back. It is your favorite Gimp with a limp, and we're back with the next part of Company of Heroes Going Big. All right, so we're going to get started right in here. Make sure you watch the first video if you haven't, the one where I go over all the overview of who's fighting who and who's doing what and all that good stuff. Before we do get started, I want to give a big shout out to Bad Crow Games. I really appreciate them sending me the files for the Solitaire expansion, the images. That way, while we're playing this, instead of having to zoom the camera down to show you guys which piece is which and all that other good stuff and what card is being played, I can put it right up here in the corner for you guys. That way, it will make it very much easier for you guys to see what is going on. And it'll save me time editing in the back end too. So big props for them being willing to help me out with the video. Because, you know, I contact them and they're like, look, Gimpy, it's you. We got to help you, man. We love you. I'm like, I don't know. I'm Gimpy. What can I say? All right. So now with the game, I have 3 cubes to start. And normally there would be a little bit of initiative roll off. But with Solitaire, it's always the player. But I've got it plugged in now. So hopefully it'll keep working. We'll see. Now, like I was saying, normally it is initiative, but with the Solitaire always goes second. So what I'm going to do is just go around the table, have Americans go, Soviets, and then the AI forces, and we'll just keep making this counterclockwise loop along. Now, each round you're going to have 3 cubes to use, or each turn, should I say, if I'm going to use their terminology correctly for the game. Each turn I'll have 3 cubes, and then a round is 3 rounds of 3 cubes. Now their cubes change, but my cubes are going to stay at 3. And I can use these cubes however I want. I don't have to put them all towards a single unit. I can divide them out. I can put them all towards a single unit. Do whatever I want with those cubes. And I guess it really doesn't matter. I could split it up, but I think we're going to take and put them all towards my guys here. And I'm going to spend 1 cube, and later videos will take and speed up this process a little bit, but we'll go slow at the start just so we make sure we hit all the high points. This is my mortar team, okay? So you see how they got the little mortar there at the front, looking all cool, spicy, ready to go. But that also means that they have a slow. They're kind of like a machine gun team they have to set up. So first cube is being spent to send them to here. Second cube is being spent to send them to there, and third cube is being spent, so they're going to go ahead and set up. They're good to go. Now, if they weren't, I would take and put one of these little dice, the circle with the line through it, indicating that they could not fire. It's actually on their player card, but I don't have to do it on this one because I am paying to set them up. So they're good to go. They can fire. Now, that's going to be applicable to things like your mortar teams, your anti-tank guns, your machine gun teams. Now, that's because it's in the advanced rules. It's not in the basic rules. So forgive me if I can forget it occasionally, but we are going to try to make sure and we stick with that as much as possible because I am incorporating the advanced rules into it for the first time. Now, that's the completion of their turn. If I hadn't spent that extra cube, that extra command point, they could move there, but they would not be able to fire. So they wouldn't be able to do anything. Although, I mean, the other guys have guns. They'd be able to fire in real life. But yes, for the game purposes, we got to put the cube down. So they are good. They can fire. Remember, with our mortar teams, and we'll pan down just so you guys can see on these because I don't have the images for these cards. There's the little circle that I'm talking about for them that they have to set up, and they cannot fire adjacent. They can fire up to 4 hexes away, but remember they only have a sight of 2. So unless someone's sighting for them, like if my extra infantry team got up here and could see for them, they could fire out a lot further, which would be awesome for them. These guys will move out later on my next turn though. All right, and just so I remember when we hit the supply phase, I'm gonna go ahead and put one of my little painted stands there. I'm not going to put them on the board on points on the map that haven't been captured yet, just so it's like a mnemonic reminder to me. Now, they haven't captured it yet. They capture it in the supply phase, but they will be capturing it this round. They're there. They're a green unit. They can capture. They're good. So I will be putting a blue map marker, flag rather, on that pole come the supply phase, so they will gain an extra fuel point. These guys are going to be pushing up towards that personnel marker over there so they can get some more manpower later on my next turn. And we see we're 1, 2, 3 hexes away, so they'll have 3 command points worth to spend, but the enemy will be closing in at that point. I'll have extra resources, but we'll have to see. These guys, I'm thinking on the turn after, put them up here. That way they're in the building, they've got cover, they've got protection, they can fire out to a range, and anyone else I send out can kind of scout for their far range. Okay, so we're over here looking at my Soviet side now, and they look a little dark in the light. Oh, pull them up, you see they are the red guys, and this is a mortar team with their 2 facing the back way. They're gonna bomb their own guys. Let's turn that thing around. So remember, I am playing this where there's 2 spawn areas for each side, for each team. That way we can get a fight going on here in the middle for those resources. Now, there isn't a lot of good resources to go for over there. There's some, but I only really need 1 team to go that way. And I wanted to pick up this really quick right off the bat, get those extra resources, because I think I'm going to try to like infantry swarm as much as possible with these Soviet units. So we're going to do the same thing, and spend 3 points to go 1, 2, deploy. Same thing, we will grab ourselves a little tower here. That way my guys are marked, and I know that I will be taking control of that later this turn. Haven't taken control of it yet, but I will. Okay, so we're over here on the AI side. Remember, this is the mobile commander. Throw it up in the corner so you guys can see it. And their guys did get spread out. I rolled for them off camera before we got started, and both AIs ended up splitting, with one starting in one starting location and the other unit starting over there. So we're going to spend their points as best as possible, along with the instruction cards that we get. Now, the one thing to keep in mind when I'm talking about reading order for this game, to keep it uniform, I'm going to do the reading order as from where my characters are looking at it, where my units are looking. So it's going to be top left here and over, and then down and over. So units in that direction will go first and then down. So that way to that way as far as it goes. So it's going to be kind of inverse for the AI, but I think this will be easier for me to keep track of, because mentally thinking, I'm thinking of myself more on that side of the table. So we'll see, but I'm hoping that kind of works for me. So let's draw our first card. And I know right off the bat we've got danger close, and I don't have to draw the blue card here that we would normally start with because there's no blue units on the table. So we're going to get our yellow, or our green rather, victory point, and we'll hold it up here because I'm going to throw it in the corner anyway. Green unit not on a control point. That's all of theirs. And priorities closest to a victory point, and the reading order. Move towards the nearest victory point. AI, and the priorities are going to be AI controlled victory point, and then the reading order. So if I'm looking here, there is a victory point here, way over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4 over there. So we're actually going to move the 1 to our right instead of this character. So let me pan the camera over. All right, so it's this one. And remember, we keep these face down. This is a hidden unit to me. They're going to be spending 3 again to start off with. Remember, I did make that minor alteration for the mobile commander, and he's going to be going towards a victory control point. There is one way over here, and it's actually not that far. We'll just slide this building out of the way. So 1, 2, 3 movement points will put him almost on that point. So we're going to place his 3 points right there. 1, 2, 3, and he has moved to there, and that fulfills their order. Now, I did that because he's the one that was closest to a victory point. The other one, the other green unit that they had, was 6 hexes away, so this fit the order as best as possible. All right, so we're over here next to our feeble commander, and this is where his 2 units are located. Drew a card for him, and he also got danger close. So we know we're doing the same thing that we just did. We're looking for a victory point. So we know, again, looking at our green victory point card, that it's the unit closest to a victory point. And let's see here. This one, the closest victory point to him, and actually I'm going to have to pick up the camera to pan it to the map to show you guys. See, if we're looking at him, he's got one here, and there's that one over there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So both victory points are equally close to him. He has the different 2. He has that one and that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's 6 for both. Since it is 6 for both, we're going to go reading order, which, remember, bam to bam. So he's getting the 3 points spent on him. And which way would be the best way to put him? This is the quickest, but I'm kind of wanting to make sure I put him in the most advantageous position as well. And I really think this is going to be the best position. He would take control at this point, but honestly, it means nothing to them to control those points, and this gives him a little bit of cover. So we will put him right there, because I do want to take and make the best possible decision for the AI so we can put their system to the test as much as possible. Now, what I'm thinking for subsequent turns is we'll streamline this process a little bit, and I'll show you guys the card and everything that was chosen and where they go. But the first round or two, I want to show you guys the steps that I'm going through to get to this point. All right, so I got just a couple of quick minutes left. We'll take and tell you what, finish out another quick round for my characters that we'll pick up on the next video with AI's next round, and then the remainder of the turn. I keep saying it. It's backwards in some war games. Finish out my turn for this particular round here, the middle turn, then do their turn on the next video, and then the final turn for all of us should wrap all that up. So I'm going to take and move my infantry unit. Remember, I can no longer move these guys. They have got as many victory or command points spent on them as can be spent on them this round. So I have to spend these points towards them, towards someone else. That will leave me with no one to spend the extra command points on during the final part of this round anyway. So it'll kind of streamline things. So let's take, I won't even do that. Yeah, that's right. The next one we'll just pick up with the AI's final part of their turn, and then we'll get into the damage and supply phase. So we were going to put 3 command points over there, and they're going to go marching along right up here. And I'm going to place another one of my, I think, relatively well painted. I mean, they're not perfect, but they look decent. I'm trying to let you guys see them in a little bit of a backdrop. I love this terrain. It just looks so good. Got the little sandbag standing out there, rope tower tied together. I like this. Some ammo crates, fuel barrels, just looks good on the table. So put that right there. That way we are gaining control now of a fuel dump and some extra manpower. And I'm trying to decide on where, I don't know. The AI's pushing up pretty quick. They're coming over here. You see right there's them. We're not going to be able to damage each other yet. But they got another one that's going to come around this way. So they're going to kind of flank in on me. And I'm thinking I can drop these guys back. But if I move them over to here in the subsequent round, right? So after this round is done, damage, supply phase, all that stuff is good. We get him put here, put in some sandbags, right? To help guard him, because he's got light cover that direction, or give him heavy cover in another direction. He would be defensible, and he would be like an extra sight line for my mortars that are here. That way they could reach out and touch someone as the AI is pushing in over here. Then I can have extra infantry push that direction to try to get this victory point. And same thing over there. I don't want to just send infantry out into a meat grinder because I have been infantry and I didn't appreciate being put in the meat grinder. It's why I'm called Gimpy now. All right, so we'll finish up here this video with the Soviets. They've got 3 command points left for this term. And the problem is, if you guys look right there, that's red. God, I hate that that's red because I want them to go bing, bing, bing right into there so I can get that extra manpower right off the bat. But I'm not going to be able to do it. I just don't see any possible way for me to get that extra point this round. And there is, if you see right there at the top of your screen, some fuel. And then a few hexes past that is munitions. So there's the 3 key things on this map. And there's 1 victory point that's right there in the center of that big building that I've got to get the miniature for because I've got to paint it. But that's why I'm thinking my key is going to be overwhelming infantry force, some type of infantry force, mortars, conscripts, shock troopers, if I can get them fairly quickly for the Soviets, because with the munitions being way across the map and the fuel right here in the center for us to fight over, I just don't see the Soviets being able to go vehicle heavy. They're going to have to go another route. So we'll go boom, 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 put those points there, and we'll send him up to here. Now, the good point, though, if we look, is I do have all this light cover here that if they trace their line of sight through it, will give them some cover. So unless they get there and they shoot right along the hex line, but I think you might get the... No, I don't think you get cover if it's right along the hex line, the side of it. I think it does have to cross. You measure it from center of hex. But there's all this heavy cover there in the center, so I'm probably going to have him capture this manpower and then push as hard as he can into the next round. See, 1, 2, and I wouldn't be able to make it into the building because I would need an extra command point. That's not going to work, but I can at least get him up to it and leave him there. The problem is he can't fire adjacent, so I have to have them farther away, but maybe they can reach out and put some damage, and I'll send some extra conscripts up. I don't know. You guys put down in the comments whether or not you think it's better to go for the victory point or the fuel dump, because I think the cards are probably going to direct the AI there. So I might be able to get the fuel dump and just go ahead and get some extra points coming in for a little while and then maybe fight for this. And if anything, I can destroy the building. I'm going to have to check the rules, but I don't have the rules for this building because I didn't get Terrain Pack 2. I think this building can be destroyed. I'll check the rules again just to see. I know these little buildings, all of them can be destroyed. They've got 4 points of health, but it only damages them from high explosive or flame. So I'll check it. And if you guys know quickly, right off the top of your head, the deal with whether or not this building is destructible or if each individual hex is destructible, because I'm not 100% on this big one. Definitely let me know, but I'll look it up one way or the other before the next video. All right, yeah, definitely leave your comments down below. Let me know what you guys think of the game, any suggestions, all that good stuff. Make sure and subscribe too. I don't put that out enough. You guys take care. I'll see you in the next one.